those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all Nerds International. With the hyphen.
Alright, YouTubes, it's Mr. Mean coming at you from Beaumont, Texas. It is about 8:15 my time. It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a rant. I haven't made a video in a couple weeks. I've been sick. I think you guys saw that in the last video. The Cold and Dark video was a previous video that I had found in the archive, and I just uploaded it. So I wasn't sick in that video. I didn't have a beard, all that fun stuff. So tonight's video du jour is going to be a little bit of everything. I thought I'd just go nuts and make a long video. I haven't done it in quite a while. The baby's sleeping. My wife is watching TV. It's Saturday night. It's been crappy weather here in Beaumont. We've had thunderstorms all day and high wind advisories. It's just shitty. So we didn't go anywhere. We didn't do anything. We did go to breakfast with some friends of ours at the new Waffle House here in Beaumont, and it was very nice and tasty, and it was really good. So anyway, first and foremost, I want to give a big shout out to Carmen Belair. He messaged me through YouTube and told me that he saw the video and he thanked me for the kind words. He is doing well, and he's able to sit back and look at it through a different set of lenses now, and he's doing well, and he thanked me for the video, and that was really nice. It meant a lot to me because I got a little emotional in that video, and if I offended anybody, oh well, I'm sorry. If I made somebody think twice about being a cyberbully or being an asshole in general, hey, then I did something good. I'd like to think that our community is bigger than that and that we don't do stuff like that, but we do. And it's easy to be the 800-pound gorilla behind the keyboard, you know, and then when you're in front of somebody, you're like, oh no, I didn't say that. So I'm glad that Carmen's doing well, and that whole animal is put to bed, as the old saying goes. So tonight's video du jour is going to be a little bit of everything. We're going crazy. We're going crazy. We've got all kinds of fun stuff we want to go over tonight. One of the first things I want to go over is WotC about 2 weeks ago did, and for those of you who don't know or not in on the acronym, it's Wizards of the Coast. They are they're the owner of Magic the Gathering, which is a collectible card game. I have a love-hate relationship with this card game because it is fun. It's a good card game. If you like strategy, if you like thinking fast, if you like cool art, if you like engaging gameplay, it's a great game. And I like all of those things. You know, there's a time and a place for every type of hobby. And when I want to play a card game, I usually turn to Magic. There's a couple other card games that are near and dear to my heart that I love. But everyone plays Magic. I mean, I got 2 different game stores here in town. A big shout out to Bookstand here in Beaumont and Cyberlords here in Beaumont. They're both literally 5 minutes from my house. Both awesome game stores. Bookstand has your RPG and your miniature gaming covered. I mean, she has so much stuff inside that store that it's not even funny. She also does comic books. So if you're a comic geek and you're in the area, stop in and look it up. It's a great big store with lots of cool stuff, and it's been there forever. Cyberlords is relatively new. It's a card shop, basically. They do sell a couple board games, actually quite a few, but they're mainly card games, and that's their focus. Hold on one second. Sorry, a little frog in my throat there. I just ate pizza, Little Caesars. And I got my Mountain Dew Live Wire because it's getting close to summer and it's back on the market. And this is liquid crack in a bottle. I love this stuff. So if you like orange and you like Mountain Dew, try it. It's good stuff. Anyway, so Wizards of the Coast 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks, two or 3 weeks ago, they did a cool come learn to play Magic. They sent emails out to everybody who has a Wizards of the Coast or a Hasbro account and said, you know, come go to your favorite local game store that's participating in this and learn how to play Magic. And I already know how to play, and my friend Robert Ramsey, he runs the local Magic tournaments here. And so they had, I think, 4 people show up. One of the guys had played Magic, but very lightly, and then I guess his girlfriend, fiance, had never played, and she was interested. And he had 2 other friends that they had brought with him who also had never played. So, I mean, for a little store like Beaumont, they had 4 people that showed up. That's really cool. So WotC had sent a whole bunch of these promo decks, and this is 2 30-card decks, so 60 cards. I've already opened it, but basically this one is white versus red, and you got 30 cards in here, 30 Magic cards, as you can see, and then it comes with a little welcome, thanks for trying Magic. If I could separate these things with my big fat fingers, it's just a little welcome pamphlet. Says hey, if you're interested in this, we have a whole plethora of game lines and stuff for Magic, so come try it out even more, which I thought was cool. That's nice. And then they give you a quick little, and then when I say quick, I mean quick. It's just a little card that folds 4 times, and it's basically how to play Magic, and it's real quick, but it's real nice if you're a new player and you've never played. It's a good thing to have to reference the rules. My wife plays every once in a blue moon, and she never remembers how to play because it's just not her cup of tea. So it's nice to have that. And this is just an easy deck. Since he had extra decks, Robert hooked me up so I could give one to my wife, so she can play with me every once in a while. And I'll play whatever color she doesn't want to play. It doesn't matter, just as long as we get to play. So be on the lookout for these. A lot of the game stores that have your Magic tournaments and do that kind of stuff will have a couple extra free decks. And if you've never played Magic and you want to get into it, this is a great way, because they're very simple decks. There's not heavy rules in it, and it gives you the basis and the foundation, and you can learn how to play. And you can go from there, and then you can buy more cards. And these are current cards. They are legitimate cards. You can play them in your deck. So, yeah, so just a shout out to WotC and Robert Ramsey for running the WotC tournaments over at Bookstand, and I think he does a couple over at Cyberlords every once in a while. He does a really great job. He's very organized, and he's a real nice guy. So if you're in the Beaumont area and you're there, stop in and say hi. He'll be more than happy to teach you how to play Magic. So that was the first little thing. I thought that was really cool. So enough about WotC, because they've got way too much money, and they're never going to support me anyway. So hey. But I do like the stuff they put out. I mean, D&D and all that fun stuff. So anyway, the next thing I wanted to talk about is a couple weeks ago, I did the Cold and Dark video. And remember I said at the beginning, I had found the video footage that I had shot, and I tried to post that video 4 times, and just something always went wrong. And it was my mistake. I'm using some new software, and it works really well. But it's it's new software, so you have to learn how to use it. So, but after I made that video, I got an email, I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, or this previous week, from Modifius. And for those of you who don't know, Modifius is the publishing house behind Mutant Chronicles, Conan, An Age Undreamt Of, and various other Thunderbirds, the board game, which is a really cool little board game with all the little pieces that you remember from the Thunderbirds Puppeteer show. It was puppets that they did a live action puppets with. It was really cool back in its time. Well, they got the rights to do that game, and they've had a very successful Kickstarter for all 3 of those games. They've done Achtung Cthulhu as well, and it's been published in Savage Worlds Rules and a couple other rules. So they're getting to be a very powerhouse. They're also they have the license to Star Trek. And they'll be coming out with a Kickstarter real soon for that. We're doing the playtest right now. I'm involved in the playtest, and I can say it's going smashing. They're using their 2D20 system, which to me is, I mean, it's becoming one of my favorite systems. I mean, it's up there with Savage Worlds and D&D. It's a very easy system, and the mechanics are fluid, and they can reskin real easy. So I like the game system. I like the character creation for Conan as well as Mutant Chronicles and Star Trek. So if you get a chance to check any of those games out, check them out. I've done a couple videos on Mutant Chronicles because it is one of my all-time favorite RPGs. So check my channel and you can see a couple of those. But anyway, Modifius is tried to crowd fund Cold and Dark. So it's up on their website. I believe you can buy the PDF for like $12 or $13. I think it's $12.99 for the PDF, and then of course you can buy a hard copy. I have a hard copy, but it's a copy of a PDF that I printed off, and I made a hard copy myself. So when finances permit, I think I'm going to buy a hardback copy because I would love to have this as a hardback copy. So this is dark sci-fi, hard sci-fi. It's way in the future. Earth has been abandoned, and we've moved out in the solar system, and we've met alien life, and we found things that we probably were never meant to find. So it's a very cool game. It runs on D8s. It's very similar to World of Darkness or Cyberpunk. If you're a grognard like me and you remember the Cyberpunk mechanic, it's a stat and a skill and a D8. And then your stat and your skill get added together. That's how many dice you roll, and then you're shooting for 7 and 8s on a D8. Modifiers add or subtract dice. It's that simple. So it's a really good system. Go back and check out my video. But I just wanted to say, and I put a link on that video to Modifius when I got the email to the Cold and Dark crowdfunding site. So go check it out. Support this game. It's a great game. If you like dark horror, sci-fi, aliens, Cthulhu, that kind of stuff, you'll like this game. It has cultist, believe it or not. So anyway, Cold and Dark, it's being crowdfunded on modifius.com. Check it out. It's totally worth it. I think you'll enjoy it. It's going to be a fun game. So segue into the next thing. This is a little bit more hobby time and miniature games, although it could work in your sci-fi Cold and Dark game if you're using miniatures. The Infinity line of miniatures would work perfect for Cold and Dark, especially those the Yujing and the Hakaslam guys would, I think, fit really cool in the Cold and Dark universe. But anyway, this is something I picked up years ago at one of my game stores when I lived in California. It's made by Pegasus Hobbies. I don't even know if they're still in business. I didn't hit the web. But they had a series of construction sets called Hexagon. And it's funny, I found this in one of my boxes when I was looking for something else. And I said, wow, I'm going to throw this in my next video because this is a blast back to the past. Because right now, Modifius, I can't think of their name. The guys that make Dead Zone. Can't think of the name of the company. But they have the Dead Zone terrain. And this, I think this is where they got the idea from. I really do. Because looking at the Dead Zone terrain, the modular terrain that you can click together, it's almost a dead ringer for it. It's slightly modified, but it's real close. But anyway, this is Hexagon construction set. And you can actually build that tower right there. Everything in this box will allow you to build that tower. You get over 100 pieces. You can build either one of those as well. So you can build any of these with this one box. Robo Gear are the miniatures on here. I am a grognard. I've said that in the past. I've played probably just about every sci-fi miniatures game known to man. I do not remember Robo Gear. It is totally, I know nothing of it. Which is weird because, like I said, I played Vor, I played, you name it. I played first edition Warzone, Chronopia, which was the fantasy version. I mean, you name it, I've played. I've played every iteration of Warhammer 40K since version 6. So, yeah, well, up to version 6. I stopped after that because I just got disenchanted with the whole thing. And I still don't support Games Workshop. I think their models are overpriced, and I just don't like how they do the rules and how they treat their customers. Evidently, I hear it's getting better. This is not a rant. Well, this is a rant, so I can go off on it. I don't like how they do business. I've had a number of retailer friends that have literally almost gone financially bankrupt because of Games Workshop, and that's just because of the way they do it. Now, the business owners made mistakes as well because I'm a big fan of follow the rules. If they say don't do this and you do it, well, then you deserve what you get. So kudos to Games Workshop for protecting their IP. That's what they're supposed to do. But there's also a little give and take in a small industry, and their lawyers are very vicious. But be that as it may, this stuff would work great for 40K if you're a 40K fan. And hey, I don't knock you. To each his own. Games are just that. They're games. And if you have fun playing them, play them. I'm just not a fan. I think there's better games out there than 40K, and so I play those games. But this would work great in 40K, or even the new Armageddon. This would go good for Armageddon for building terrain. So I've never even put it together. This was still sealed in the box. I did rip the plastic off quite a while ago, but it was, I mean, none of the pieces are punched out. It's all plastic sprues, like you'd get your models, and you just put them together. They snap together basically with little like rivets, almost like Dead Zone terrain. So really cool. So I just wanted to point that out. If you see this at a garage sale, or you see it on eBay, pick it up, man, because it's a really cool set. I did put one of them together at one of my old game stores, and I actually left it there when I moved out of the state. It was back in the days of when I lived in California, and I left it there for the game store. So it goes together really well. It takes a little oomph to snap the pieces together, but once you get them together and you snap them a couple of times, they become a lot easier, but they still stay together, and it makes very sturdy terrain. So it's, if you've done the Dead Zone, this is nothing new. This is the same thing, just in the same vein as the Dead Zone terrain, and I think it's awesome. So I just wanted to give a shout out. I don't even know if Pegasus Games is still around. I doubt it. That's like, I don't even know what year that was. 2000. Not even, I think it was before 2000. I don't even know. I'll have to look on the instructions and see. But if you see it on eBay, or you see it in your favorite local hobby store, pick it up and play with it. Let me know what you think. Or if you have a set, let me know. It was cool stuff at the time, and it was revolutionary because nobody had anything out like that. I mean, we used to use Lego. We would take Lego pieces, because at the time I was playing 40K, my son was little, and I had a Nurgle army. I had a Nurgle fantasy army, and I had a Nurgle Warhammer 40K army. And we would take Lego pieces and spray paint them and just use those as terrain, and it worked out great. So anyway, if you can find it, get it. If you have it, let me know what you think about it. I'd be curious to see. I thought it was really cool. So then we are going to have another RPG here in this rant. We're only going on 16 minutes, so who knows how long it'll be tonight. But like I said, we're going all over the place. I said in several of my videos that there are no bad RPGs, only bad players and game masters. I may have misspoke. And I say that with all seriousness to the hobby. And like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm hard-pressed to find anybody who's been doing it longer than me. Way back from the days of the D&D, when it was white and stapled and it came in a Ziploc bag. That's my first set of D&D. Didn't have dice, had chits. You had to cut them out and put them in a cup or a bag, and you pulled them out. I did eventually get, I think it was the white box, and it had the color in your polyhedrals, which was really cool. I was totally hype about that. And I still have those dice somewhere. But I did run into a game in my collection, and I've told you guys this in the past. I have quite a collection. I have 29 moving boxes full of RPG books. Full. Like, you can't put any more shit in them. They're full. And they take up 2 closets in my house, because this room has been turned into the baby's room. I have a table in here, and I still do my videos in here, and I do my hobby time in here when it permits. But because my son is still sleeping in his crib in our room, because he's only 3 months old, and he's doing very well. He's finally gotten over that horrible cough. He's still a little congested. I think that's just the Beaumont weather. He may have a slight case of allergies. I don't know. But anyway, he's healthy, and he's getting big. Oh my God, he's huge. But he's beautiful, and he's happy, and he wakes up smiling and everything. But that's neither here nor there. But I guess you could probably tell I love my son. But I ran across a game in my collection that I actually own, I think, just about everything for it that they had put out. And the funny part is, I had bought it. I bought everything. I bought it at a store in Arizona. I bought it in Vallejo, California, at a place called Ian's Games, which evidently is no longer in business. I tried to look them up on the web a while ago, and I couldn't find them. And I looked in the yellow pages in Vallejo, California, and they weren't listed. He was kind of like Bookstand. He sold a lot of older games, or he sold used games as well, that he would buy from people's collections. and he would turn around and resell them at a very reasonable price. And Ian, his name was Ian, he was a super nice guy. And it was a little tiny, like, failing strip mall in Vallejo, and there was like 4 or 5 stores in there, and my wife and I would go on the weekends, and she'd go look at all the craft stuff in the little stores and just window shop, and then I would go obviously to the game store and go in there and spend serious money because I'm a goob. But I found this game, and it looked amazing. The art was very vibrant and colorful, and it was really cool. Full color interior. The book was pretty solid, so I bought it. And then I saw, oh wow, they had a GM screen with a packet in it, and a bunch of little splat books, and they had a world book and the main rule book, and that was the 2 books you needed to play the game. And I think at the time, yeah, it was $29.95, and it was produced by Zid Creative, and they were out of Quebec, Canada. Zid, X-I-D, and it was really cool, and it was zidcreative.com was their website. That website no longer exists. This game is beyond dead. But I'm trying to get to the page where, there we go. Yeah, because he's Canadian, so he's got a French introduction here, which I can't read, and I'm not going to try to mangle it. But this was published 1997. And I think that's probably when I bought it, because that's back when I lived in California. I moved to California I moved out of California to Arizona in like 2004 or something like that. But it was, creative system was designed by Nicholas Jequier, if I'm saying that right, Jequier. I have no idea if I'm saying that, but Jeff McIntosh was part of the system design. Richard Bynek and Michael Scott were the main people, and it was pretty cool. So the painful game du jour that I am talking about, that I think is probably one of the worst role-playing games ever made, is Providence. This is the main rule book, and like I said, the art is fantastic. So this game, you had, first of all, they were in a hollow world. So they obviously ripped off Hollow World, and I think it was Dark Sun was inside, I don't remember. But that's cool. I don't have a beef with that. I'm cool. And the art inside of it is fantastic. It's black and white art on the inside with a couple of color plates here and there, and some of the other books. This book is all black and white except for the first couple of pages, which is the primer. But basically, they're prisoners, and they've been here so long that they've forgotten, most of them have forgotten that they're prisoners. Now, they're a race of winged people, and you say, okay, that's, they got wings, cool. But the game further digressed it from winged and non-winged. So there was a social status. If you had wings and you could fly, you were on the top of the ladder. If you didn't have wings, you were at the bottom. If you had small wings and could only glide, you were in the middle towards the top. You were still better than the people who didn't have wings, and they were usually slaves. So right there you can see the game already starts to fall apart, because you got wings, no wings, light wings, heavy wings, blah, 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 blah. Then you got your eagles, you got your hawks, you got your sparrows, you've got your what was the other one, like hummingbirds, and then you've got bat wings. So they make all these distinctions between the wings and the different types of wings. Some of the people look more demonic for whatever reason, and they don't really do a whole lot to tell you why. They just say, well, they're of bat heritage, and so they are evil. But you can play a bat character and not be evil, so that part was cool. The art is okay. I mean, it's not anything to write home about. It's all black and white art. Some of it was like heavy line art that they made emphasis on, and it's not bad. A lot of the art was, like I said, was okay. Not very consistent. Here's another piece of art, and again, we lose our consistency right there. Let me see if I can, yeah. So, and then you got cartoony art, and, so here's a good one, because here we see the two different styles. A lot of the art in the book is like this right here. It's black and white line art, and then you have this art over here, which I'm not quite sure what to call that. It's like charcoal or whatever, or just heavy inking and pencils. So that's always a pet peeve with me. Get a consistent art style and keep with it. Then you got some art that's actually pretty cool. That piece right there is pretty sharp. So the art's not horrible. It stays for the most part consistent, but it's the mechanics of this game. To build a character in this game, and I've tried several times, you got to pull your hair out. And as you can see, I have a lot of hair. I don't want to pull that much hair out. So I said, okay, I'm going to give this a try. I got past the character. I made a character. I made a hawk of a noble house because there's advantages and disadvantages and stuff you can buy. Okay, fine. I'm there. I'm good. I got it. Okay. Now I'm going to do the mechanics. So in this game, you only ever roll 2d10. But you have bonuses. And these bonuses add dice or subtract dice. But then the rules lose me. Because then they say, you still only roll 2d10, but you're adding dice. So if the dice go over 2d10, then they become positive or negative modifiers. What? Why not just say you got 2d10 and here's a bonus and a negative and be done with it? But then they go into this big rigmarole about how many d10s you're going to roll and then come back and tell you, no, you only ever roll 2d10 and any other dice become modifiers. I'm confused. I haven't read the rules in a while, and I could be wrong, but that's what I remember. The mechanics just didn't make any sense. I tried to play it. I tried to run my friends through a game, and we were all like, what? And the sad part is they put out a buttload of books for this game. They got like, I want to say 3 or 4 of the digest size books that were like for different areas. And then, of course, they had the world book, which told you all about the world. It was very little mechanics in it, which was cool. I mean, they get a lot of short fiction, some of it well written, some of it not, but for the most part, a lot of fiction. And they explained all the different areas, and they explained the caste system. And the fiction did a good job of doing that. I will give them that. And then they had a couple other adventures and stuff. At the time, their website was pretty decent. I remember going to their website and downloading the character sheet. The character sheet is painful. I think it's in the back of the book here. Yes. That's the character sheet. And it's double-sided. There's a backside. And you can see they got Darwin's little mannequin on there, but he's got wings. And, you got bonuses, and then, here's your magic spells. There were many different types of magic in the game. To be honest, too many. You had shard magic, you had spell magic, you had earth magic, you had dark magic, and it was just too much. And, in kudos, the book is not that big. They give you a lot of information in a very condensed format, which is pretty cool. So, well laid out in that aspect, but just too much information. And not very well organized, and it's just a bad game. I'm sorry. So back to the world. It's a hollow world. They're prisoners inside, and they've been prisoners for so long. The wardens and basically the cops were basically the guys with wings, and they've rose to social prominence. And then the prisoners have become the slaves, and they've bred and bred and bred. And it's been many, many generations. In fact, I don't think, if I remember correctly in the world, nobody is alive that remembers it to actually be a prison. Like, there's no living guards or living inmates. They're all dead. It's how many generations have gone through. And the downside is there's a sentient race of, for lack of a better word, plant people. And they don't like any of them, whether you've got wings or no wings. They don't like you. You're trespassers in their world, and you're effing everything up, and they want you dead. So you've got those antagonists that you have to deal with. Plus, you also have the different factions in the game that are vying for power and trying to rise to prominence. And then on top of all of that, the world is decaying. There are cracks in the sky and water is pouring in, and it is slowly going to fill up the void inside. And so there's a couple people that know about it, and they're trying to stop it and use magic and technology. There is a little bit of technology in the game, not much. It's mostly magic, but there is a group that relies on technology. So yeah, it's weird because you've got magic, you've got swords, and then you've got like gladiatorial. The game is all over the place, and it just doesn't make any sense. Now that being said, some people may like this game, and if you do, put a note in the comment down below and tell me why you like it. I see the attraction. I wanted to like it. I really did, because I thought, man, the art's kind of cool. I like that theme. It's a little disjointed, but I can get behind it. I like the plethora of books that are out for it. It's tons of information. If you're a GM and you want to put this world together, there's no problem here. You got everything you need if you have these books. Sadly, though, nowadays it's out of production. I don't even know where you can find a copy of this. It's old, but it's out there, man. And I don't know what to say. I don't know anybody who plays it. I don't know if I've ever met anybody who's played it. I've gone to a lot of conventions, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, "Hey, man, you ever played that Providence game?" No, I've never run into that. So if you guys have heard of the game, if you've played it, let me know. Is it a good game? Because I can't get behind it. I don't know. So that's what I wanted to. That's what I want to talk about tonight. Was just go over that little stuff. Nothing major. We're rolling on 31 minutes, so we've had a good little video. We've gone over some different things. Haven't done a video in a while, so I wanted to post something. I do have a really good review. I'm reading the book right now, so that I can talk about it intelligently, which you guys all know that's a stretch for me. Is Mindjammer, using the Fate system. I'm really impressed with it. I've been enjoying reading it. I'm in a bi-weekly Star Wars game and a bi-weekly Deadlands game, and so in between playing those, I'm not GMing right now. I took a little break from GMing, and so in between running those games or playing those games, I've been reading Mindjammer to get ready to do the review, because I'd like to do a pretty in-depth review of it, because I think it's a really cool game. It is also being published by Modiphius. You can go to Modiphius's website and you can purchase it, and it's a beast. It's a thick book, so look for that review coming up here shortly, probably in the next couple of days. Those of my followers know that every month I do a not loot crate, but an RPG crate review. I didn't get one for May just because finances didn't permit it, so I had to suspend my account, but I will be getting one for April. And I will do that one. So that'll be coming soon as well. So just wanted to let everybody know I'm still alive. I've survived the sickness, and my family as well, and I'm doing well. And I may have some really cool news in the next couple of days. For those of you that are going to be in Austin the weekend of May 12th, and you watch my videos, I will be at ChupacabreCon. They have reached out to me, and I had done a video where I was not too happy with the service and everything of that convention last year, and they had tons of complaints. They've since gotten everything squared away. They reached out to me and they said, "Hey, we want to make this right," so they invited me back to the convention. So luckily they've got me 2 badges for me and my wife, and we're going to go give them another shot and give them an honest review, and so look for that review as well. Looking forward to doing that. Probably the Monday I get back, or Sunday night when I get back from ChupacabreCon. It's a 4-hour drive from Beaumont to Round Rock, which is where the actual convention is. So it may not happen Sunday night. It may have to wait till Monday or Tuesday, but I'll get it uploaded as soon as I can, and you'll get my thoughts and ideas on what happened there at ChupacabreCon, and I'm looking very forward to checking it out. So as always, peace and hair grease, and remember guys, be nice. Thank you.